promise you that you'll never meet another person as mentally tough as you in your entire life. And he hasn't, and he never will.
Still got sad time in the night. If the beat's alright, you get it. Still sending a message. Time to look. I still got packs to the side. I just take my time. I still rap.
Good evening.
I just take my time.
My name is Yinka Inniss-charles.
And good evening, my name is Jamila Bolton-Gordon.
And we are the next generation of the Mangrove 9.
Today's show is very special to us. We are celebrating the anniversary of the Mangrove, Steve McQueen's film. And we have a very, very special guest with us tonight who is an actor and took part in the film itself.
So we are going to introduce the man himself who played Boyce in the Mangrove film, for those who watched the film. Kane L Pearson, would you like to introduce yourself and tell us a bit about what you're up to maybe, or what you do?
Oh, good evening, good morning, I'm not sure where everyone is, but hello everybody. I am Kane L Pearson. I played Rupert Boyce in the Mangrove 9. What have I been up to? Well, there's been a lot of how avenues that have kind of sparked because of Mangrove. You know, it kind of when someone like Steve McQueen puts their signature on your CV, the revenue's dope. You know, it's really good. So it's been good. I've been doing a few adverts. I've been but there's with auditioning, it's just, I guess after a while you just do, and what happens really, you know, because in front of the camera, like, you could be ideal for the part, but if you don't match the cast, you know, so there's many different things, but mainly I'm just like training, and I feel myself, I have an approach like an athlete for, like, when it comes to doing acting. You know, you got to learn, you got to train, you got to do this, you got to do that. So I've just been training, but there's a few stuff coming up next year, so that's good. Mainly kind of adverts, so that's good.
And how did you feel about, you know, let's take it right back to last year. This is last year, the anniversary, when you were actually, you know, acting in the film Mangrove, and you had the privilege of working with some great actors as well, Letitia and Malachi, and all of you were great actors anyway. Sean Parks, Richie Campbell, Darren Braithwaite, if I can remember everyone, Jermaine, what's Jermaine's surname? Hunter, and Nathaniel Martello and Rachenda.
Yes.
Sandor.
Really well.
Yeah. But it was wicked. It was literally madly, like, wicked. It's just like, yeah. You know, I learned a great deal. Their work ethic is sick. You know, like, literally, like, it was just really good. They like Malachi really, like, just watching because he was reading a book. It was just crazy. There's so many pictures that we got. There's a nice picture of everyone in the room, and everyone's just like, I got headphones in my ears, the other person's there. It's just like really everyone's deep within.
Found out.
Yeah, they had two different ones, like one set of us and another set of us, and it's just wicked. It's really good, and learning, absorbing, seeing how they connect. You know, they connected a great deal, and just doing the scenes, and it's just mad. It's just really wicked, man. It's just cause I've watched with Jermaine before as well, so it was good to reunite again with him. And Letitia's mad supportive. Like, when you see her on TV, she's nothing compared to when you meet her. She's just such an entity, such a beautiful personality. Everyone's dope. Nathaniel was dope. Rich, I know is rich. He's crazy. He's funny, you know.
He likes
Shem,
banter.
beautiful. Yeah, he's funny. I'm like, bro, do comedy, please. You know, Shem is so, yeah, he is. He's just like, there's so many tapes. You know, there was Shem and Letitia in the car, and Rich lived outside, and he was just bugging them, and it's just stupidly dope. It was just like having fun, and yeah, it's just energy and frequency. The frequency was just magical. You know, it's just like, yes. And I like the terminology of Steve McQueen. He knows how to raise. He knows how to pick you up. He's I said, like, he has a terminology diet. He only uses specific words, you know, and we will say genius, that's genius, that's genius. And it's just lovely, supportive. I think the whole cast, it was just a nice experience, and it's just, I'm very happy, you know, to be attached, literally massively happy, you know. Yeah.
And what makes it different to working on a because this one, obviously, and there's been a few films now that I've noticed that are starting to come through now. Obviously Panther's the obvious one, Black Panther.
Yeah.
And now you've got The Harder They Fall.
Yes. With
Idris, and then you've got obviously The Mangrove came out. So yes, we've kind of been quite obscure in terms of playing a full role or having an all-black film.
Yes.
Or let's say the majority of the characters are from ethnic backgrounds.
Yes.
So how did you find the difference, and also the story? Because I mean, it's not a story that was well known, The Mangrove, outside of the main, let's say, black communities. You had some people who were aware, you know, outside of our communities, but it wasn't mainstream knowledge.
Yeah.
So how did you find the story, and also working in that kind of culturally,
it was
a very satisfying environment? But you know what I mean, in a less diverse and more culturally black environment.
So what was crazy, I always read Empire magazine and read it. See, it's like, to know, it's very funny. I did this psychological thing. I'll go and I'll look at the magazine and see if I'm in it. I ain't done nothing. Literally, I ain't done nothing to be in it. But I said to myself, yeah, I'm gonna check and see if I'm in it this month. I haven't done anything to, you know. And I remember reading, okay, oh, Steve McQueen's doing something. Oh, okay, that's nice. But then, woo! It's crazy, because I'm like, wow, I am now in it. Then what happened? They featured us in Empire magazine. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, and it's like, it's crazy. It's really, really crazy. So it was nice, and the respect, and it was a full spread, double page in Empire, and you see all. It was nice, and I guess it's very funny, because you see things again, like you see things you don't download. I didn't download. Okay, I'm gonna maybe be part of it and one thing, but when, like I said, just seeing how you could see something and not realize you're gonna be part of that. And it's actually gonna make your dream come true of being in Empire magazine, you know. So that was massive. And again, like, you know, they gave us double page of, you know, so that was such a good achievement.
Had a big spread of employment.
Yeah.
So how did you feel about it, knowing that it was kind of a bit, not necessarily close to home, but you had some kind of connection along the way with you know, the Mangrove, as in the area, or the, you know, the name still Pan, or since it wasn't actually a new thing to you, as in that you had family members who were kind of involved in your Pan and Mangrove themselves. So how did that feel to you, to know that you were playing a part of history and being a part of, you know, such a great history for the Black history of the UK, and knowing that your family, some of your family members grew up, or were involved in the Mangrove and the area and the still Pan and everything like that? How did that feel for you? I mean, did your family say, wow, you're playing the Mangrove? It was
Aaron McConnell. He was because what happened was I was originally playing your dad, actually.
Oh, okay.
I was originally playing your dad, Then what it was, because I'm fairer than everyone else, they said, okay, can you play Rupert?
Boyce, yeah.
Yeah. So that's was like, okay. So I'm not sure why in the script they didn't have Rupert more bit featured in it with words, terminology and stuff. So I saw how the rest of the cast, they weren't playing. Like I said, Malachi, Letitia, everyone was in their zone. Yeah, I'm saying, like, everyone was in their zone. So I spoke to Hazel and I was like, okay, tell me about Rupert Boyce. Like, you know, there's an Irish Trinidadian in the name. Then I just went around asking everyone. Then my mom's like, speak to, you know, Marlene. Then I spoke to Marlene and her, Marlene Marcano, and her nephew. Yeah, I know. So I was like, yes, you know, because you have to be, like, if you're going to do it, you have to do it dope.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Especially when you're representing your people, your family and your people, because otherwise they'll be like, where the hell did you get that research from?
And that's it. So I was on the phone. I was phoning. I spoke to I forgot his name. Bubbles. Yeah. So
he was on one of our podcasts actually, talking about the history of.
So I was literally stalking. I'm like, I need to do this right. Like, what's his mannerisms? I spoke to Rupert Boyce's daughter as well, and you know, just to honor, because it's not a made up character. Because there's certain things I could have done, but I was like, I don't want to do that. I want to, if I do it well in this way. And I think for me, it's not about me. You know what I'm saying to you? It's honoring as much as possible, and not, I want to shine, I want to do nah. Calm yourself. You know, I just want to be as honest as possible, represent again, because it's no joke. Like, what they did was crazy, and how, because I didn't know anything, literally anything, and just reading upon it, it's just like, really? And a lot of people as well was like, I never knew this even existed. You know, it's like, how? Literally, how? But it was just, it's a very magical thing. And it's just like, it should have been longer. You know, literally. And even when we was on set, it's like, wouldn't have been dope if Netflix picked it up. You know,
a few episodes. That would have been nice to have a few series where you could have got to know the rest of the characters, because there was so much more to the characters than just the trial, because it heavily features on the trial, obviously, and kind of showed the characters mainly in I would say it was brilliant the way it showed, and obviously the short time, but it was kind of just in a negative way of them trying to get out of something, when a lot of the characters in the Mangrove 9 are quite humorous, funny. You know, it'd been nice to have seen the less pressured side, apart from when they're just maybe doing a little celebration, because then you would have got more of an idea of each character, to know how, you know, a lot about them, to how they would have stood in that trial and how they were feeling, and kind of getting the feedback from it.
I think what's interesting would have been, I mean, it still can happen. It's not said it can't happen. You know, you can have a film and you do a series afterwards. Yeah. But I think what's interesting is, and I've always said this, you know, to give a fair representation, it'd be nice to know who the characters were, what happened to them before, how did they get there, you know, when they got there, how did they cope with the environment that they're in, you know, part of the characters of themselves and their family background, and also what they did in the community, you know, how what was their position in the community, you know, some had a more prominent, some didn't, some were, I mean, just who are these
who are the Mangrove 9, who were they? You know, there were some who were much more popular in the media, so you kind of got an idea about who they were, and there were some people that were more, like Jamila said, very proactive in the community, and they still didn't get much recognition about those characters that even lived in, you know, in Ladbroke Grove for all those years. And then there was some, like my dad, who went back to Trinidad, or well, we don't know if Godfrey went to the USA. We think he might have. So they left earlier, but they still were, you know, human beings with characters at that time. When you listen to some of the stories and you see how they carried on, there's so much stories about who they were when they were in their 20s, or who they were in their 30s or 40s. Which because me personally, when I see characters, I want to you always want to know more about that character and about how they act, how their history,
Yeah.
you know, like their charisma, their this, their that. But, so it would have been nice to have gone into more of the Mangrove 9, but it was about the Mangrove. So it was kind of heavily focused around the restaurant and the trial, which I suppose you can't put everything in it in that short period. And even in the 2 hours people thought was long, you got what you could get in it.
The 2 hours, yes, yeah. It is definitely, because even when Sean was doing his stuff, like he was doing, you know, again, like everyone, when they was just not joking. Everyone was seriously doing it. Yeah, it is, and it's just being.
Well, it must be a heavy role to play, to be fair, because I mean it's a bit like, I mean, every actor that you hear when they do interviews post the film will say, I mean, even down to what's the newest film at the moment, the King and the Williams sisters.
Oh yes, yeah. King Richard.
Will Smith.
I want to see that, but I haven't seen it. Has anyone seen that? Either. I can't wait to see that.
But everybody said it's, you know, it's given it, you know, really good reviews. But you know, even him, Will Smith, who, you know, has been through what career span of maybe 25 years, 30 years almost. You know, when he plays certain characters like Muhammad Ali or you know, you have to, the responsibility of depicting that character as true to life as possible is quite a heavy. It's a weighted thing, you know. For me, especially if you are very particular. You know, I'd want to be able to, if I'm going to play somebody, especially someone who's been in the spotlight, people know them well, you know.
Yes.
I'd like to be able to give that person justice if I'm going to, you know. Can you imagine the family? Can you imagine if you don't particularly do your homework and, you know.
Triggers. It's a trigger.
You end up with some people, you might get a plaque in your head.
I think a bit of it is like a form of betrayal,
you
know. And again, so that's why when I was trying to meet Bubbles and meet Rupert's family and try to have that honor, you know, I'll do the best I can, like even down to voice. I want to get his voice, not a Trinidadian accent. I wanted his voice. How did he speak? You know, and there was a few opportunities, and like, bless her soul, Letitia's like, brother, you can speak, you know. I was like, oh, you know, I'm like trying to learn. Like Bubbles was the main one. Like I recorded, like with him. And I'm like, yeah, he's like, oh, he spoke like this, and he was like this, and he was like this, and did it like this, and the Clive as well helped, you know. So he was trying to get, because again, from Aaron brought me down. And yeah, so it was a support, and again, I'm very particular, and I just took it seriously, and like again at Malachi, like how he did, you know, the voice was dope. You know what I'm saying? Dark as hell. The voice was dope. So I'm like, I would feel a way if I just said, oh, let me just get a few words, and then, you know, just to say, I think that's a bit of a betrayal, because the family be like, that.
And do you think as well the fact that because some people just think everybody sounds the same, not the same, you know what I mean? Like there's a difference, even though Trinis and Grenadians are similar, there's a difference between a Grenadian accent to a Trini accent, to a Bajan accent, to a Jamaican accent.
Yeah.
And if you are going to portray people, and same to an African, if you're gonna, there's different accents for African accents in different parts of Africa that you come from. You don't just say one African sounds the same.
No.
So I think. Do you think that was important, that, you know, people try to get the accents?
100%. Everyone was about that life. Everyone was very much about that and getting it, holding it maintained again, because for us, it's important. You know what I'm saying to you? Like, I don't think anything like this has been done before, I don't think.
Not in the UK, I don't think.
And it's like it's like heavy hitters.
I mean, I think they only, there probably was, there was Babylon back in the days. I remember, which was a good film. And I always even remember Desmond's, when, you know, you had all the different accents, but some of them would come a call in that they would overdo the accents, which I thought was quite funny when you had, especially when you had like the different kind of accents, and then
Yes.
was he Guyanese? I think he was.
Okay.
Actually, I met Norman Beaton actually when I was little. He was a character,
Yeah.
but and then you had the obviously the African guy who used to really play it.
Yes. Yeah. Matthew.
And things like that, and I think the accents themselves.
Yes. In color.
It kind of lightened up the plays and brought color to it. Whereas I suppose on the Mangrove, it was more of a serious
Yes.
kind of way. So it wasn't as easy. Do you understand what I mean? Because I've done acting in the theatre before, and I've had to put on accents, and I used to always find it of a kind of fun way, because that's the only way I could do it. It's like kind of take it on like it's funny.
Mm-hmm.
But with you lot's parts, you had the seriousness of the characters, because it was a serious thing, and then you had to learn the accents, which would be quite, it'd be a lot more harder to do, because you couldn't kind of exaggerate things just because of the charisma and all that kind of thing.
But also equally, you have to, the factual part of that information has to be correct as well. That's an obvious statement, but then also, it was interesting because, some actors went out of their way to go and research, do a deeper level of research on themselves, rather than rely on the research that was given to them.
Yes.
In total.
And that's when we took responsibility, because this is us. Do you know what I'm saying to you? If we're doing, we're gonna do this, we're gonna do that, because we can't have alibis on, arcs, do this, do that. We understand the importance, and again, it's not just a film. It's like a biopic, biopic with.
It lives on.
Yeah, so it's a thing where you have to respect, make the most, learn, embody, like have that honor. You know what I'm saying to you? And it's also to how can I say, just to champion those people, you know what I'm saying, champion them with finesse. And that's art.
It's really interesting because today in itself, I've been speaking to one of my dad's oldest friends. So he knew him from when he was, I don't know, they were in, I think 1965 or 64. So he saw the transition, and it's part of the transition of making up PPIC, Black People's Information Centre, or Backyard, a number of my dad's businesses. And, he was telling me some history that, because I'm doing a master's environmental management, so I'm looking at the violations of the planet that we're what we're doing to it, and and part of that is obviously steel. So we've got steel to make the trains and to make various transportation. And then I started looking at, so I've got to do a dissertation, so I thought, okay, well, let me look at how transportation aided and abetted, the slave trade, and how they, and where the displacement was, and forced migration in the Caribbean to over here on a promise that everything would be fine, but you really just wanted the labour, those type of things. And he was just giving me some really interesting history about, in the first, say for instance, as an example, he said to me, do you know that when the blacks were taken from, Africa, we originally had blacks here from the 8th century in UK, because they were part of the Moors that came over into the Europe. But what was interesting when he said to me, when the blacks went to war to help the English, or part of the English army, went to war for England against the Americans that were settled, their own people. He said, when the war finished in the 17th century, they didn't know what to do with the blacks, because the government didn't want them back here. And they couldn't settle in America. What they did is that they sent them over to Trinidad. And what's interesting is that there's a repeated Windrush scenario. And so everything they've perfected is something that they've historically done before. So in other words, not just the Americans, excess of the Americans, the blacks in the army, the British Army, but then we've got, which Auntie Althea told me, which I didn't even realise. That's why I love the older generation, and I miss them so much. We're not part of that anymore. But even she was saying to me when I was telling her about my dissertation, she goes, well, you know how matter of fact. I don't know if you've met Auntie Alfie. She's very matter of fact in the fact that she's very precise with information. And she said to me, well, you know, in the 17th century, you know, Queen Elizabeth I, there was all this worry about this excess again of not necessarily slaves, but indigenous, well, people that's come over from the Caribbean and Africa originally. And she said that because they were affluent and they were wealthy, and that, you know, there's a nobility and there's, you know, financial status of these people, especially when they came from Malawi and other countries that were rich at that time. She said that so their government basically organized a kind of migration.
Mm-hmm.
Let's put it nicely, migration out of England, and where they sent them was Sierra Leone. So that was the first kind of windrush of excess.
Yes.
Like around the time of the film, you kind of was doing all your acting, and then I think did the COVID then come around, and then you?
There was good example. We were supposed to have a rap party, so that was
a rap party.
Yeah, that was
rap, as in R-A-P or no rap.
Oh, you mean wrap it up like you finished?
Wrap it up, yeah. So after finish, because he's done what it was 5 all in all. So all the casts from all the different series would come together one day and celebrate like that's a wrap, we finished.
Yeah, you didn't even get that. So have they never thought about still trying to bring you together now, or since after everyone's been too busy?
Yeah, everyone. What it is very. This industry is very extreme. You know, like you may get me today, but you can't get me yesterday. It's just like like even Jamila. Yesterday he's most probably available, and it's just like okay, this is here, this is there, and it's a very random industry, and it's from one extreme to the other. You know, so it's just like it's just like I'm not sure if we're gonna have that.
I think we actually managed to catch you guys because of the COVID, really.
Yeah.
In the sense that a lot of people were working from home, so we was able to get you. I think we've got a lot of people based on the Zoom.
Yes.
On the podcast at those times because people were at home and you could catch them in.
Yeah.
Whereas a lot of people now, you know, everyone's trying to, a lot of especially in your kind of industry, those who suffered in those times of COVID are now out there trying to make up for what they didn't weren't able to do. A bit like DJs, music, artists, actors, theatres. You know, everybody's just trying to get back on the road.
What is now is all these new variants, new this, new that. So does that mean that we're out of work? Does that mean this? Does that mean that? Does that mean it's
what's the implications of all these new things?
Yeah, you know, then after now it's a thing of where they got the whole new variant. So then does that mean? And you got some jobs now, they're like, well, if you ain't injected, then you ain't coming on set.
Affect you as well, Dwayne, in that Kane. That now that they, you know, even down to the simplest thing of running out of tests. So if you guys are working on sets now, this is going to be an interesting one. And generally that they at least make you do a lateral flow test before you start working with other members of cast. And I know when they were doing, we had Saloom on the show who was the director of Bridgerton. He was saying that sometimes they had kept them in hotels and they weren't allowed to go back home to their families, and literally you was in that bubble, you stayed in that bubble for months doing the Bridgerton. So I'm sure they would have done lateral flow tests between themselves, keeping it going. So it's going to be interesting now, even, you know, not just because of the variant coming, but if things like tests are not available to people, you know, how will people start working in new casts and new, do you understand what I'm saying? It's like,
or even travel, how are you going to travel? Because I've got a friend of mine who's traveling with his son, and I've got another friend also traveling, and if there's no stop, you know, how are you going to, because they only look at certain...
I bet the private ones, right, where you have to pay to travel, they will have the PCR test, I can assure you, right, when you're paying £100 and something. We're talking about the free PCR test from the government. So maybe they will buy the test. Maybe you'll have to go private, and that's going to be an expense. So are you working on anything at the moment in that your
you find yourself in that predicament?
Well, what happens usually is they'll have someone come to your residence and you'll do like the test, then you'll basically send it off and they'll get back to you the same day or within a few days. Then from there, then okay, because they have a thing called COVID backup now.
Okay.
So I can get the role and someone else will get the role. But
in case you get
so
COVID.
they'll ask you, are you okay to be a COVID backup? So if I say no, then they're like, all right, then we'll have you. And if the person says yes, then they'll have them as a backup. So when we do the test and I come back negative, it's mine. If I come back positive, then that goes to the other person if theirs is negative. If that makes any sense. Yes,
I thought you was going to say that both of you have to learn the parts. You know, like you would have a backup person to do the.
Yeah, you have to. Yeah.
Oh, you do. Oh, I was going to say like you learn learn the part.
If he got it, all right, mate, it's yours. You know, and that's how it's kind of going. And sometimes you can, if you say yes to being a COVID backup, you can lose out on jobs, big jobs. You know what I'm saying to you? So it's a thing of where, no, you want me or no. And that's another thing as well. So it's like a catch-22, you know. But yeah, they usually do that. Sometimes what they do is like 3 days before you test, then after you'll get the result, then you'll email it to the people. They have your email. And sometimes when you go on set, you still get tested. You know, so, okay, yep, you're allowed in. And that's how it goes. So I've done a few adverts like that. So yeah, that's how it's happening currently.
If they're like shorter kind of things, like adverts, I don't know, probably be filmed. It would be filmed like, you know, maybe a shorter period of time. But what if someone's doing a film in that?
Yeah,
it's a long ongoing thing. Would it be that they film?
It's a thing of where like certain places, because I had to audition for something and it was like, okay, you'll go island, however you're staying in Ireland for 3 months. You're staying in that bubble 3 months. You ain't going out. There ain't no one coming in. 3 months. You know, so this is how we do it. So yeah, people in theatre, they got it the worst.
Yeah, and
I
imagine
what it is.
You need the audience.
So during like the whole COVID issue, like adverts are like your best thing to do, because they'll give you, if you get an advert, they'll pay you for the job, then they give you a buyout fee. You know, then you have a buyout fee. Then if they renew it, they'll give you an additional, you know, money on top of that. So that's ideal. If you in that kind
every
of
time it gets played, it's a bit like the publishing. It's a bit like publishing, I suppose.
But now they don't do that anymore.
Oh, okay.
Oh yeah.
That used to be good because you used to get your little shares.
That was royalties. Yeah.
Yeah.
But now it's
royalties.
They have a flat rate. But what they do is annually, if they want to renew it, because like there's a 3-year. Like, okay, what is average you've done within the last 3 years? Because after 3 years, then they would most probably just leave it. But yeah, within 3 years, they always ask you.
You want it to play it back.
So they have, so they'll renew it. If they go, because I did something with the Bulldog advert.
Oh yeah, I think I saw the pictures on Instagram.
Yeah. So with that, I did it. Then they renewed it. Then from renewing it, they put it in a cinema, and I get an additional. You know, so it's just like I'm still learning with a lot of things. You know, so it's like what happens, and I guess, you know, with a lot of things, just like if you're good with people, then you work with them again in that energy and stuff. So yeah, it's just
and you know what's interesting as well is that I was reading, because obviously we're looking at Panther, they're looking at the Black Panther coming out, the sequel.
Yeah.
And your co-worker has been in some bit of a hot water kind of situation, as we've read. And on top of that, unfortunately, she got injured on set.
Yes.
We never know what the true narrative is. You know, sometimes it's always negative if somebody states an opinion. You know.
Yes.
And that gets twisted and sent out in all different directions, and all kind of madness starts evolving from that conversation. And it just goes to show for me that you know, I feel for actors, because no matter what you say and do, even if it's in your private life, you know, it's magnified in such a way that it can cost you a job. You know,
they always tell you, and they don't get involved in politics or sports or this and that, because not just because everyone should be allowed to have a personal life.
Yes.
But unfortunately, some people see it as you're an influencer. So when you've got a lot of people following you, they feel that you can influence, even though other people can do it and just get away with it. It's like, it depends who they want to target.
I just think like the whole kind of Twitter and the whole, it's just, you know, miserable people. Misery loves company. You know, misery loves company.
As people that like to troll.
Yeah,
I haven't got time to troll.
And it's like,
all these trolleys are like, and you're just like,
it's like,
go and get a life.
Literally. And it's just like, are you that unhappy that you're gonna orchestrate? Like, I think there was someone put something up so simple. If you heard how much people was put, I'm like, really? I think it was something so simple like, my wife wanted a boy, or something like, well, she should. Like, oh my. Like,
they had a girl. They should have had a girl. Yeah, negative. Right.
What
are you being discriminative?
It's just
but
like,
also, you know what makes me laugh is when they say, I can't even think of the names of anybody at the moment because my mind's gone blank. But when they say someone has passed away or transitioned, and they have to come back and defend them, actually, I'm still alive.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
Oh, do you know what? I've done that before. So I'm not even gonna joke. I remember putting up about this. So embarrassing, because I saw something on Mandela. I saw something on Mandela, so I put up, rest in peace when Mandela died, blah, blah, blah. And someone said, Yinka, man, give the man a chance. He ain't even passed yet. And I felt so embarrassed. I was like, oh. Right.
It's a
now I check. Now I don't put nothing.
Yeah. 100% it is. And but even what's not even culturally, it's not, because even rest his soul, Kobe Bryant, like his wife found out like everybody else. That's not fair.
Ooh.
Just to get this on. Like, really? It's TMZ. And it's just like, I'm not sure if she's suing them or something, but there's come on now. This is real. This is like, it's not about having, and I think certain laws needs to be changed, because that's trauma. That's trauma.
She probably could sue them anyway under privacy and under the Article 8 Family Acts and stuff, because everyone has a right to their privacy, especially in those circumstances. But where do you? I mean, so you said that after Mangrove, you was excited, and what was you doing before? Did you do any? Was you in any films or stuff before Mangrove?
Before Mangrove, I was doing doubling work. So
what did I entail? Doubling work.
I did Age of Ultron as well, Avengers. So that was good. So I got to wear the War Machine suit. So I was literally like, I was in the outfit for 5 hours. Like, I was.
You must have been hot.
Yeah. You know what's funny? I was hot. The way is they have to put that like a black robe over you. So if anyone basically, because we were at a certain location, and they still can have paparazzi, whoever, take pictures of the suit. So I had to walk around with the suit on, this black thing over me. Then it was so funny because I was inside the like a little library thing, and it was hot, and my nose was itching me, and it was like a side of, in libraries they have the shelves, and the guys that do the suit kind of saw me a few times, and I was just like rubbing my nose, so I guess because you can't literally, when you have it on, you can't touch your face. You cannot. You're so like any little thing. I was like, I'm itching.
You might, you know that reminds me of Yogi Bear. Is it Yogi Bear?
Yeah. So it is that, but that I did that. Mad. I love Anthony Mackie. He really, I did like, because I had to act like I was landing, and because I've danced before. It was so funny. It was on set, you had like the director, and he's like, I want this. Then you have the guys who have the suit, it's like, okay, I want this. So they were like very much be careful of the suit. That's the only suit, so we can't have damage it. And you have the director, you better land like you're a superhero. Your suit, you know. So you're like, it's like, it was funny because like mum and dad, like, who does listen to mum or dad?
Listen to mum.
Yeah. So what? Thank God, I was able to create a way of landing without, or looking like I'm landing really properly without damaging the suit. And Anthony Mackie, like, after I finished, he just like went crazy, like, yo, he just like made so much noise of what I did, and I was so appreciative. I was like, oh, thank you, you know. So that was good. I did the Han Solo Star Wars double, and it was funny actually because I did Fast and Furious like 6. I was like, you know, a double for Ludacris, and it's like as
right, you're just saying it, don't just say it like that. You done a double for Ludacris, you know?
Yeah,
oh, just blabbering it out, just for Ludacris,
and it all low-key, almost under the
like it's nothing. We're talking about Ludacris here, you know, the rap now, the hip hop and all that.
Yeah. And what was funny, it was nice, like, praise to God, is each kind of film I ended up doing, I grew more and more and more. So I was a double. Then when I did, I worked with Idris Elba. He's awesome. I was a double for Emil. He's a real human being.
So what double was you for with Idris?
Yardi.
Did you know Saloom? Because Saloom's is always with Idris. He done Lufa and all those different things. He done a directing thing. Or maybe you saw him but didn't. Yeah.
But yeah. So it was at the time. Then after with the Mangrove, it was just like, thank you for each time. It was just getting more closer.
Practice, yeah.
Closer, and I have an agent. I have an agent, Melanie Gale. She's a trooper. She's wicked. She's really, really lovely. She spends time. She speaks to you. She works with you. Like, so I feel like I'm so super blessed. You know, like she would
that's good.
2 hours on the phone, like, you know, tell her this is that, the industry's this way, and it's just knowledge. So I feel very, very blessed and very happy. And it's a thing of where it's about me training now. It's about me. And I think because people are like, oh, you just need that opportunity. No, I just need to be ready for that opportunity.
Yeah.
You know
it's funny you said that, you know, because I never looked at it like that in acting. I just thought, okay, you got a role and you just starred in it because you had to do things, and then you'll just jump into the next role and you just kind of learn the lines and script and you just go with it. But we had Ashley Campbell on the show. So I don't know if you know Ashley Campbell. He's been in quite a few things, a lot of theatre, but Casualty, everything he's been in. He's he's been going for years since a child, like with Michael Jackson and stuff.
That's wicked.
And he got homegrown as well from the Grove.
And he comes from Ladbroke Grove, yeah. And he's kind of like family. He's another family member. But he said that, you know, we were talking about different things about university or different ways of learning acting, and he said, listen, because we were talking about the industry and how it's this and this, and he made a valid point in that, you know what, it's not always about cast and how you're casted, whether you're colour, you're this, you're that. It's always about learning for yourself, like you were just saying about, you know, like the Mangrove, learning the characters. In that he was saying that he was going to work in Birmingham or somewhere in the theatre, and he had to play a part or he had to sing, even though he's done singing in the past. He was like, you know what, I can't just look at it and think, oh, I can sing and I'll just go there and just be average. I'm now been doing this he's probably been doing it for over 30 years. I don't know even how long, probably more than that. I need to go now and go and get some training. Play and practice and
play
myself to be perfect. And so when I'm going there, I'm feeling confident and I'm not like, oh yeah, he's just all right. I always need to be practicing and learning. 100%. And as he said, it's for you to go out there, and you need to go out there and work on your training, because no matter how, you know, if you become complacent, I suppose, and think you know everything, your character may show that. You know, you could, like saying the industry's changing all the time, that you need to be on your game of always watching things, always looking at videos, always picking up on this and doing that, and that's how, just like you said, that's exactly how he said the game is, and that's what you need to be like.
Because I did the photo shoot yesterday, and I like had to like I had, man, he's still alive, I ain't it. An acting coach called Alexander Rodrigo. He went back to New York, but I loved him because he basically was like, listen, acting is a way of life. It's not no, it's a way of life. You have to do things a certain way. Like he was like, you need to read books. Like every 2 days you should be reading a new book, you know? And it's like, you need to go to the theater. You need to do this, you need to do that. To be an actor is not just, no, it's training, you know? And even back to with the photo shoot, he was saying, when you do a photo shoot, be fully bearded, then take a few shots, then trim it down, just a bit of moustache and a goatee, then clean shaven, you know? So that saves you money, you know, in that one shoot.
Yeah,
so
that's where
there's
that makes sense.
things, yeah. So it's like, with that, you need to learn and know how things work, you know? So having that, doing that, all right, then that's done. So my pictures for next year, that's done. What am I working on now? What do I want to do? It's always, and even Will Smith was saying, while everyone else is sleeping, I'm working. But everyone's eating, I'm working. You know, it's that thing of discipline. You know, I think
self-discipline.
Yeah, and I think opportunities always will come. It's just, are you ready? And again, like you were saying, is a thing of like, all right, going to, when you're acting or doing whatever you're doing, is I'm showcasing you what my ability is, you know? So it's not about, I don't want, no, I'm just showing you how dope I can be. You know what I'm saying to you? So that comes to training. Again, I love Kaepernick, you know, is it Ronaldo? Even all that kind of things, but I grew up in the times of where you had to dance, you had to sing, you had to act. You couldn't do that. If you weren't a triple threat, then you ain't. You know what I'm saying to you? So I still have that, you know, So it's just, again, all right, I've achieved this, what's next? Oh, do I have Shakespeare? No. All right, I have one Shakespeare. Okay, do I have 2 Shakespeare monologues? No. Okay, that's cool, learn 2 monologues Shakespeare. All right, do you have a modern? Do you have there's always something to do. Always something to do, and just training. And a few teachers when I went identity, they do tell you about learning about yourself, being you, because sometimes, again, you could only be, there's only one you. Learn how to celebrate you and learn how to do things. And I think acting should be called being. You're not acting the part, you're being the part. You know?
There's a big difference. Yeah, you're right.
Yeah, so, and I think a lot of people get it jaded, like, oh, I'm acting, I'm crying. Oh, no. Be in it so I don't cry, you cry. Yeah. You know? And it's a thing of where you find a part of you or where you were upset. So you find that part when I'm upset, this is how I carry on. Put that into your character, you know, and so go on.
No, sorry, I didn't want to stop.
Yeah, so it's like you put yourself into that character and know, because even I had to do an advert, God willing, it comes out in February for, say, I can't really say too much, but yeah, but there's a good woman like in it, and even for like the audition, I got a friend who's a director, and he's like, yo, be you. So what I do with my auditions, I do a normal one, kind of alright one, then just a crazy one, a wild card, you know? So I had to act like, the brief is, okay, you're donating money to something, and when you look up, the person appears to you and starts singing a song to you, you know? And you have to react. So I'm a stupid guy, I'm stupid. So I like to do that Valley Girl stuff, like, oh my gosh, like, I can't believe it. So what I did, I'm like, nah, I'm gonna start like that, because they said have fun with it, do whatever. All right, I'm gonna have fun with it. And I just, boom, you know, I did that like, oh my, and it works because you stay in their mind, because they see so much people. It's like, I got to show you I could go crazy here, mild, and just subtle. So when you audition, you kind of show range. If that makes any sense. You know, you kind of give them range to like, okay, he could go very wild. Okay, he could be all right, you know, and okay, and that's what I think with a lot of things in auditions, that's the best thing to do.
Is it about coming out of your comfort zone? Because you know, some people, they stay here, and it's like some people don't want to do certain things because they feel vulnerable in certain parts.
Yeah, you have
things
to
like
be.
that.
It's like, I think like there's certain things you just have to like just go for it. It's like, and what it is as well, if you don't get this job, there's another job, you know, and it's a crazy industry of like, okay, if you did that, I remember that person, and it's when I did Star Wars, one of the guys are wonderful people on set. His desk, no word of a lie, he had that much paperwork to do to pick for the next scene, and I was like, are you serious? He's like, yeah, my wife just had a baby, I've got to be here for 6 o'clock. I'm like,
That's dedication.
yeah, and the thing is as well is for us as actors, because praise God, I've been able to see every kind of stance. Like, okay, I know how it is before the camera, behind the camera, so, and in the office. So in the office, do you really think he's like bothered? Like, okay, yeah, no. So it's like, all right then, he's got all those papers. How is he gonna pick me? Because he's tired, he's knackered. How am I gonna
stand out?
Yeah, you know, and I ain't gonna pick, I ain't been picked. And it's so important, again, with your eyes, like with like doing headshots and stuff, you have to stand out. Yeah, and your headshot is like one of the main things, because for us it's all exciting, but for them it's just a job. All these people, so you have to do things that people are going to remember you. You have to because even when I edit things, I just watch it on my computer screen and think, is that Netflix worthy? I don't. Yeah, it's you. I think you have to be
Think outside
so
the box.
critical. Yeah, be critical and be like, because I'm not like, nah, I don't like that. No, I won't. No, finesse it. Do this, do that, and it's again, but being in the moment. And that's the thing, it's like, all right, because I had to do an audition and I was like, okay, I kind of want to do it this way, but I ended up not doing it that way. And that was being in the moment, and it came through better. If that makes any sense. Because sometimes when you're like forcing, and you could tell, you could watch it and be like, nah, that's not real. So,
do you think that's why some people end up getting typecast in series, and they just like that forever in their life? Doing the same soap, you know, like EastEnders and things like that, where they then, when they try and get work, they're so typecasted that they find it very difficult, because everyone's like, no, you're Sally, or you're Ethel from EastEnders, or you're Doc.
Even on my Instagram, like, I try to have the different roles. I don't want anything the same. So I did a video with a young lady called Santana. That's a bit, you know, reggae kind of, you know. Then I got another kind of image. I got another. So people, this dude's versatile. He's not just one thing. And if you allow people to you are versatile, that's good. They can't typecast you. You know, oh yeah, funny. Okay, comedy. Have something with comedy on it. Okay, have this, have that. So it's important to allow people see if you have the ability, if you have, because even I forgot his name. There's two actors. This I forgot his name. He was in Wolf of Wall Street. Two of them actually. One of them, the guy that goes dum, 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 dum. He was in romantic comedies, and he wanted to change over, and they wouldn't allow him. So he's like, I'm gonna stop. And he said they gave him a really good offer on a film. I was like, oh, I'm not doing any more romantic comedies because I want to change over, you know. So he had to stop for a while, then, you know, to have that switch. And the same gentleman that was there, like the guy with weight on him, he said I had to lose weight because Hollywood would not take me serious. I had to lose weight because if I stayed this size, I'm just a funny person. And even what's her name? She's such a good job. Rebel, Bumping Rebel. She lost weight because like you would get. She was in Pitch Perfect.
Saying, like we're bad with watching and saying.
Yeah, I'm not.
But
so like literally.
Yeah, I know.
You have to transform.
Yeah.
have to transform.
No, I get that.
You've also got to stay relevant. Relevant, transform, be willing to transform. I remember my dad. Sorry to cut you off. I remember my dad saying to me, because he used to have a standing area in Portobello near Oxford Gardens or Cambridge Gardens, basically near where the bridge is.
Yes.
And it used to be a running joke because you had All Saints Road, which is where Mangrove is, and then you had Portobello where my dad was.
Yes.
So it was like the activism and the political atmosphere was with Portobello, and Mangrove was a mixture.
Yes.
Of there's some political elements to it, but it's more entrepreneurial in that sense. Because they had a lot more businesses along that stretch in that sense. So, but then also because it was a legal centre, where my dad was, he would then go outside and I'll be standing there for hours, just almost wilting away while they're having all these debates and stuff. And then one day this man comes from Trini and it's also a hangout place, because it's a familiarity and it's you get all the latest of I don't want to say gossip, but part of it was gossip.
Yeah.
A man can gossip? Oh God.
No, they're worse than women. They make out they're not.
And if you sit there,
this day and age, men, have to say. This day and age, men are worse than women. They're disgusting.
The way they talk about themselves or women or problems that they have with women is just, you have to laugh.
You remember that saying before when they used to say men don't talk about nothing, they keep it all in. And they still somehow use that that method of getting away with things where they bottle it all up and they never say anything, and that's when then they have a breakdown. No, stop using that now, because men are like women in that, well, not even like women, whatever you want to call it. They gossip, tell everybody's business, tell everybody everything, and chat away. So you can't keep using this. Men don't talk rubbish anymore because we've sussed you out.
They've been talking from
gossip.
Before century was.
But they went to the barbers to do their talking. Pretending that.
Barber shop is a good example. Or if you're playing a game like dominoes or any of those games, chat. It's therapeutic. They tell you about which wife didn't do what and how, and all that. Pity them, whatever it is, they would talk. Anyway, so when we're holding, there's this one man, Trini man, came to my dad and he said, Gordon, you're holding court, because everyone's outside. Yeah. And then he just turned around and looked at me, he burst out laughing. He said, well, yes, I'm into people's psychology. Because how are you going to know, if you don't study people, how are you going to know how to study yourself?
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
And I thought it's so true, and it's always stuck with me because I love people, and
people's first.
Attention to detail. Ask me attention to detail on, topics or history. I mean, I like those things, don't get me wrong. I mean, I like the detail, the layered stuff, But ask me about people. Don't ask me about their name. Yeah. But ask me about what they told me 5 years ago, 10 years ago. That's meaningful to them. That comes back in my brain. Everybody who knows me will say to me, "You still remember that?" Oh, I didn't. I'm surprised you remember, because I should study people more.
Everyone's literally character, and it's funny because I guess once I get deeper in things and deeper in roles, like I will go up to people and be, listen, I'm an actor. I need to get the number. I need to hang with you because my character's just like you. Okay,
They'll be like, you weirdo.
Yeah, you weirdo. But now with Instagram, I'm like, look at my Instagram. I'm actually an actor.
That's what they used to say to me. They used to say that back in the days when you was in the music industry. I'm a photographer. I'm a producer. Can I get your number?
I feel I have a very childish side of me.
Oh, I love it. I love my childish side. Make me.
Beautiful, and it kind of keeps you, and even
I will never leave that alone. Never.
Nah, because when I used to teach, and I told the kids, never become a full-time adult. Never become.
It's so true. It's so true. Because I mean,
whatever that is.
No, it's true.
It's being young at heart, isn't it? It's I've always been young at heart.
And also it keeps you young with the young kids, and you can interact.
Your children might get a bit embarrassed. But
they always embarrassed.
I remember the other day I was at my little grandniece we're talking. Actually, she plays for the Mangrove, Junior Mangrove still, Pam. And so she had a little 12-yard party, and they were all kind of just sitting down. You know, they get moany and all them kind of things. And I was like, no, that ain't happening. So I used psychology on one of them that seemed to be getting the, you know, she was a bit upset, and I was like, no, we've got to get her back, because then my niece was now moaning. Anyway, cut a long story short, I was on the I was on the dance floor. So I said, come on, everyone, get up, right? So I got them all on the dance floor, and I had them all it's like dancing to all the kind of tunes, and they're like, hey, like jamming like we're in some thing, and they were all jumping around, dancing. It was so mad. And then, so they were loving it though, because they're thinking, they're only 12. Do you know what I mean? They're thinking, God, we're in a rave because they've got a big auntie that's just going and getting down to them, squat, whatever. And then every minute when they calmed down and they went like that, my niece would look at me like, come help, what are you doing next? So I'd run back and I'd be like, yeah.
No,
and then I was mad.
But it's like, I think some of it's society or whatever, or it's like your sell-by date goes mad quick.
Yeah, they start telling you.
You know, because even when I was teaching, some of the kids like, sir, are you a student or are you a child? You know, but a lot of it is psychology. You know, it's a thing of, okay, listen, what's the objective? We need to get this work done. I don't care what you do, as long as you get this work done. We ain't making no noise though, you know, and just work with them. Everyone's different. Each child is different.
What age group were you teaching?
Secondary school.
And what
that's the hardest, isn't it? That
was like behavior management. I would do like behavior management. So funny because kids were like, sir. It's like, I'll not freak them out, but they would be like, it's like a balance, because if you work in South, it's a different approach. So when I worked in South, I would always have my tie. When I worked in that Northwest and other areas, I wouldn't have my tie. So it's
why do you find that?
Yeah,
because you have to see a young black man suited up. It's more important. They haven't seen that. It's alien. It's a foreign thing for them to see a young black man with a tie. But when it's down here, kind of other areas,
a bit more trendy.
It's
quite like it. See, for me, I like men in suits, but I like men to be casual. So it's like, for me myself, I could go around scruffy, like little tomboy, whatever. But then when I go out, some places I'm looking dressed to the, you know, people are like, they call it well scrubbed up, whatever they want to call it. But I look
you washed up well,
feminine in every way,
scrubbed up well,
beautiful dress, scrubbed up well, whatever. But for me, that's a mystery for you, because you used to see me all like tomboyish, casual. When I go out, I'm not just saying that, you know, it's like the think, but people will be like, wow, did you see Yinka there dress all girl, you know, thinged up? And I think that's nice, like you were saying about changing characters and being more than one person. I am tomboyish, yes. I can wear my jeans, my trainers, whatever. But at the same time, I can be, if I need to go out to the right different places, depending on where I'm going. Depending on the environment I go to, I will dress to feel comfortable in that environment, because I'm not one person who has to be scruffy and always wear jeans and trainers to go everywhere. Because to me, I'm adaptable, and it's about being adaptable. It's about adapting to change and feeling comfortable as well within your own skin at those different environments that you're going in.
I get tortured, like, because I went to the Buff Awards like Friday, so I had to look like somebody's picnic, you know. So I do the same thing. I do, because I'm with a group of guys called the Princes of Motown, and we sing songs and we was at rehearsal. I got my little afro, I got my beard going, and I want to get a shape up. I don't need to. I don't kind of really need to. I'll maybe drop a bit down, but for work, it's not necessary, you know. And that, okay, if I do audition tape, I look like somebody pick me, you know, presentable, and that way. However, like you, Yinka, it's like when I went to the awards, everyone was like, "Oh my gosh, who's that?" Oh, even a friend of mine, he's a director, he was like, "Literally, I didn't even recognize you." Totally different. I'm comfortable. I like that. It's just that's who I am. It's like a thing of where I am focusing on training. I'm training. But when I go out there, I make sure I look like someone's picked me to represent.
But this is what I always say to my own children. You know, you're representing not only just yourself, your family, your community,
Yes.
But you know, there's a lot that you're representing your country, you know, whether it's your birthright here or, you know, historically in other countries in the Caribbean or Africa. So I always say to them, you know, we were so proud about how we wore and conducted ourselves. And we've kind of, you know, morphed into what is known as the English society, which is so casual that you almost look like you're a tramp.
Yeah.
You know, and then you're going to take that into every situation that you're going into. Casual, and you know, you're not playing up to like going into the camera. You know, that's casual. I'm casual, you know. But what I don't like is when you look scruffy. Like if you you don't look like someone's picked you, you've been dragged through. No. And I said to my son, don't be bringing nobody like that in my yard, you know, and then think I'm not going to kick off. Because then people staying outside. Because if they look like that and the outside, what they
think
do they look like on the inside?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? If you don't look like you hold a babe, you know, I don't know, a bed from morning. Remember that?
Fresh. I don't know, bed from morning.
Is there any one part that you played that you felt that really challenged you?
I'm like a baby. I call myself a fetus in this industry as an actor. I used to dance from the age of 13. I was a dancer. Then from 20, I was like in a group, like singing and rapping and stuff. So acting was something I eventually wanted. However, I wanted to be in my group first. That was the whole music, you know, artist. So I'm like a baby with that at the moment. Sorry, it was 2000 and maybe was it 2017, and that
That's quite fresh. Well, not fresh.
Yeah,
what's that?
but yeah.
5-6 years.
Because it was my friend's brother. Because I went to my group, I went to my singing. He was like, listen, because he's Arab. I went to Qatar. He's like, there's something holding you back. Like, talk to me. And I'm a person, I like to put my business for people to try, you know,
use
take me down, you know. But it's like, listen, it's like, Habibi, listen to me. Leave your singing and just do your acting. So I was like, all right, then. That was like April to September. I joined up to Identity. I was there for 2 years, and within that, whatever happened there. And I was getting like a lot of double stuff, a lot of this, a lot of that, and each work I was doing, I was more featured. Because even when I did the Han Solo, they actually used me in the trailer. So the principal photography, it's not Donald Glover, it's actually me. You know, I'm like, the trailer! I mean, you know, so that was like, all right, things are going. So I guess challenging wise was I had to do, I guess, learning lines, but it's I had to do this theatre audition for a theatre performance. That kind of bugged me out for a few days. You know, like, but in the end, I did cool. I did well when I was auditioning. I think I know I did well, because it's like, most of it I remember because I'm dyslexic. So a lot of times,
that must be hard.
Yeah, I have short-term memory loss. So what happens is a thing of where I could read something, then I read it again, get a totally different interpretation. Read it a third time, totally different interpretation. And what's crazy is, cause I do sign language as well, and I'm like level 2 sign language. So sometimes when I'm learning my lines, it's sometimes certain words just block. So sometimes I end up just doing like my hand, like, cause there's like width. So I just like, that's the line. So I've kind of incorporated little ways to remember or get the line out, you know. So I guess what's been challenging is just having what is in your head come on screen. Like that finesse, that effortless, that, because you could, you know, all right, I can, I'm not convinced. So it's about, and that's the thing as well, like I was saying before, is being, because there's a way of, okay, this character, you know, all right, this character, because I did a play, I actually did like a scene, and I based it off my student, and literally everyone was like, that was wicked, because I'm like, now this is my student, he's he just off literally. So when I had to come in and fall over, but the dedication and just doing and being and living, and when you do things like that, you're like, okay, everything else has to be like this. This is my entry, you know. So it's because what's challenging is, okay, I do it this way, but is there any other interpretation? So that's why I would do it 3 times. I do it this way, do it that way, do it that way. There was was it Jamila Taylor? There was a TV program with that was showing him, and I had to audition. And they said, okay, this was with my other agency, Casting Collective, so it's like extra work, you know. So it wasn't all featured work, but thank God I got a lot of featured stuff there. And they were like, okay, you're telling your son off. What age is he? Like, I don't know what age is, you know, because if I tell my son off,
how you talk,
yeah, you how you talk. So I was like, you know what? Let me chop this up. Yeah, so I was like, okay.
Don't do that.
Yeah, so I had to do that. It's like, why are you crying? Like, don't cry. Oh, daddy, go. The other one's a bit more stern. He's like 8. The other one's like, yo, you better go. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, so that's what kind of helps, because you can be clueless sometimes. And again, with directors, they don't know who they want.
Yeah,
you know, because it's funny
until they see that person. Yeah.
Yes, I had an audition for Pennyworth, and my agent sent me the email, and the 2 guys, myself and another gentleman, was up to audition. Totally different. This is like an Iranian kind of action hero, kind of, you know, and little on me. So that's what sometimes they're not sure of what they want and how it fits in the house. So it's just do your best and just move on. Walk on by like Sybil, really.
Walk on by like Sybil. I ain't had that one in a while. I've got that actually.
Well, it's actually to get an insight, you know, into actors, because I mean, we can, you know, it's such a beautiful job, but it's also very challenging at the same time, and it's hard work and the recognition and the financial hardship that you go through, and also just, you know, how you have to split your private life with your you know, your public, that kind of Gemini thing you have to portray yourself to be if you're an actor.
And what's funny is because I'm a choosy person, I can't take drama and all that. No, thank you. You know what I'm saying to you? Because
no, not can I. If you're into drama, I'm gone.
Nah, and I think what is what
I thought you was talking about drama acts, and I'm like, what are they talking about? Drama. And then I realized you're talking about drama and mix up.
Yeah, it's just because even so funny, like I was once on set, someone approached me, then in the end, it's like, okay, you interact with the person, but then what happens is you start sacrificing things of a great deal for this person, but then in the end they're ready to go up and go about their business. So I've literally could have spent, and that's the thing, it's like, yo, are you worth it? Are you this? Are you that? It's very, for me anyway, I'm a sensitive person. I can't take all of that. Don't do all of that. And even Will Smith was saying as well, even with certain things, even Daniel Kaluuya, he said he I think when he did the latest role, he still had the character of Get Out. And I think
that's a brilliant film.
Yeah, he's like, I haven't taken care of myself. I still had that within me. That character was still there in me. So my thing, I know me already. Yeah, I'm saying to you, like, I'm too much of an empath sometimes. So it's like my wife, yo, when I go home, that's it. There's no drama. Obviously, you have arguments, life is life, but no one that's gonna add to you, add to issues, you know, because just go home and that's it. I'm like, so I don't go home and just be accepted. That's my thing. I want to have that, and I think Will Smith was saying, like, he didn't do Django. What it was, and there's a lot of roles that Will Smith turned down, and I was like, Will Smith, man. But then what it was, I think his new book, he said 2 things. One of them, he said he wouldn't do method acting anymore because I think his first film, I forgot what it is, 6 Degrees or something. He was like, my role as the character was to fall in love with the person. He said, literally, I fell in love with the person, my co-worker, in real life. He said, ever since that happened, I'm not doing those kind of roles. Because he gets attached, and it's
because it goes so deep in.
It does, and even so funny, because even after Mangrove, I was still texting in a Trini. I was still, and this was like maybe like a month and a half, 2 months after it's finished. I mean, it's like things stay with you, and again, a lot of people don't realize that spiritual, that kind of thing that fall on you. You embody certain things, you know. So with a lot of actors, they've got to do this, leave that, and go and do this now. But you haven't had time to put that to rest. You know, it's like when you it's like if you're gonna do a paint set with the kids, all right, you started putting stuff away, but then you haven't, then you start doing something else. Eventually, you're gonna knock the paint over, aren't you? So you start all these projects and do all these things, but you haven't had time to properly put them away. So it's very mindful to be like, okay, I need to be even having a team. Like,
don't you think as well? Because I remember I used to act in a theatre a few years back, and for me in the theatre as well, it was very. I was quite shocked in the way people's egos. Especially, I don't know if it's like that on set, but I know that it's a bit like that in the theatre where people were literally, because I'm just a kind of laid back person. I'm not, look, when it comes to a territory that's not mine, I'm kind of just learning, like you said, and I'm just trying to fit in and doing my thing because there's someone asked me to do it. A director came and said, it'll be great to do acting, so I just got into it. I just remember some of the people, they'd be scratching each other's eyes out, like it'd be like, you know, because everyone gets reviews after and written up. If someone got a better review than what, because we done it for like a month in the Pleasant in Edinburgh, and people get more things than the others. I used to be amazed at, you know, they say that it's like that in modelling, but it can be like that in the acting world. I remember one time going on stage and doing the part that I played, and I remember getting a good reaction from the part I played, and I just remember one of the actors coming up to me after, and they said to me, I swear to God, don't, this is what they said, don't you ever try and upstage me again like that. And I was just like, rah, like, and I wasn't even trying to, because I went in the competition with all those actors that had been doing it for years. I was just going on stage, happily doing my part and just getting through. And that really shocked me to know that, God, these people, and people like arguing, fighting each other. So there is, I'm not just trying to bring a negative to it, but there's a side of acting. It's not all glamour, everyone gets on and you're a team.
Nope.
We come out, we do the best film. There's some serious egos going on in the acting world, and it can be very nasty. So, I mean, there was really brilliant parts of it that I really enjoyed. But I did get to learn, especially in the theatre, that was a kind of shock to me, because I've done kind of acting on, you know, it's easier behind the screen. You can't play a part. It's just you and they film me. But God, it was like cats clawing each other out, like because one person got a better.
With the Mangrove, that weren't the case.
You could see the chemistry.
It wasn't never. It was like Letitia's like, we've got this going on, we should all go together, we could do this, but it's just clashing and this, that, we should. It's just, and that was beautiful. Like,
we saw some videos where you were partying behind the scenes. Videos, Jamila, where they were like, ready to go on and everything. You wanted to be there joining in with you guys, so it looked fun.
It was, and it was no one's, it wasn't that at all. It was just wicked. No ego, nothing but support, no catty. The person will like, will support you, will bring you in. It's wicked. Because
you know, it's funny you say, that, because again, a friend of mine who works quite closely to Saloon, and he was saying that, you know, because Bridgerton became, I think, partly became such a success. I mean, one is the timing, everyone's at home.
Fell in love with Duke.
But the main characters equally played an equal role in being depicted, you know, the main character. Obviously, it was very sexualized. There's elements of it that were just a bit, you know,
Yes.
depending on how you look at it. You know, some people didn't find it.
I haven't finished
over the top.
I think for females, we did well. A lot of people I know that I said, make sure you go and watch it. And they was like, no. When they watched it, it was like, and then you're watching episodes. Maybe it's because we were locked up for so long.
Yeah, it's quite addictive. And also, you know, some cobwebs are going on and they're around, you know, because of the lockdown.
Well, like, and Duke of Hastings or whatever he wasn't, you know, he was quite a good character. So that's all right.
A good-looking man, yeah.
Yeah.
And I would assume to some extent.
No, it's good. It is because it's, you know how we are. You know, it's just ha joke. Da 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 da. It's always that. You know what I'm saying?
Energy.
Yeah, the frequencies. You know, and it was just wicked. And it's one thing as well. You know, like, okay, I don't know how. I don't want to really experience being on a set where people are monsters. You know what I'm saying to you? And again, generally, even through dancing and stuff, I don't do the ego thing. And I'm there to showcase what I can do. My main thing is to do my job and do it well. I use a term, it's kind of a bit of a vulgar one, but it's to an extreme one. I say the director's the pimp, I'm his bitch. I work that corner to the best of my ability.
I like that.
You know, literally, that's why I'm there. I'll work the corner. I gotta do, that's my job. You're my pimp. How do you want it? And that's it. I ain't got time for ego. I don't have time for that. And where in the past I have, like yourself, Yinka, like people be like, oi, don't be this person. I'm like, what? Yeah, I like, you know what, I actually can't not do that. Yeah, I'm saying to you, and it's,
you got to know how to kind of, for me, because it was kind of shocking, I think I kind of played down my role.
Yeah.
Because they said that because people approached me after, and I'm like new into the game, and it's like, how are you getting all this kind of attention?
Like, what the hell? Like, who are you? And
I had a tiny part as well, so you know, sometimes you could have a long thing and a little part, and then just wake everybody up. Yeah. And I just felt, but I thought the wrong thing I'd done is I think I let that person affect me in that I just thought, oh, you better stay in your lane, like tone it down. And I think I did. I toned down my role, which I learned after. Is not the thing to do. It's to just switch off from everyone and just be who you need to be. Yeah. But I suppose a lot of actors up and coming who are going into the industry, they probably, you know, could find that experience when they first come into it, because there are some people, as in any job, there's going to be some people that are like stay in your lane kind of thing. So they've got to just learn to, you know, I would say word of wisdom is just keep it out, like don't even take it on. And just stay in your, you know, they say stay in your lane. Stay in your lane, and do what you need to do to shine.
It's so funny because with certain things, like I've got a term, it's like, you obviously don't know who my grandmother is. You know what I'm saying to you? You obviously don't know who my grandmother is. I ain't dumping on who for frightened. You ain't frightened.
Like me and Jamila, you don't know who. Yeah, you obviously don't know where who my dads are, where we're coming from.
So
you obviously don't know where I'm coming from.
It is, so it's a thing.
And just don't underestimate people. I mean, I think before we wrap up, I think, you know, the most important thing, you know, is to celebrate, you know, ourselves, and also, you know, our people who are working their behinds off, you know, who are genuinely you know, taking, you know, some really, what's the word I'm looking for? Just taking that leap of faith, you know, that a lot of people don't take and don't have the vision to take, or enable to take, or look at. And I think we just need to give, and I keep saying this every single time, and I will always continue saying this. I mean, it's very simplistic what everyone needs, and it's just called LOVE. And that transcends into so many different aspects, you know, because if you're feeling the love, you're going to give the love. You're going to look for certain things. You're going to do certain things. You're encouraged to do certain things, you know. You're also encouraged to get rid of things, you know. But it's all based on that ecosystem of love, you know.
One thing is not to, okay, let me say, I like to be specific. Yeah. My experience on just as an entertainer, And even I went to the like awards the other day. It's like some fellow West Indians will not embrace you.
Yeah.
Come on, like who are you? They will be at war with you straight up.
You find that in every culture. You will find that as a human.
And for me, it's like, oh, really? Come on, like, give me a hug, man.
Yeah.
And like, what? Like, I'm not a, you know what I'm saying to you? And it's a thing of where, oh my goodness, I'm like, you know, you obviously have no idea what I do or what I've been. I've been a dancer, I've been a performer, I've been an artist. So that works in my favor as an actor. So I could be.
But do you not think, it's a belief in you. It's the belief in yourself. The strongness of the belief in yourself.
It's a thing of like, it's that thing of edge. I know how to present myself with an edge because I've worked as an artist. I've been a dancer. So when we present ourselves, we're kind of a certain okay, and you have that. Yeah, and it's just like, well, what's wrong with you, man?
It was lovely to have you representing the rest of the Mangrove 9 cast, or Mangrove cast, should I say. Big shout out to the Kane.
And also you're going to show me some of your moves.
Yeah. Let's see some dance. Have you got any videos?
Do you know what? I tried to do a dance reel, but because it's been like 97 in the 2000s, technology, it's just mashed. So hopefully I get something, or I got to put something on my Instagram of me dancing.
Okay, so when it's on there, I'll have to make sure to say,
yeah.
Jamila, look at you dancing.
So that's one of the things I plan to do over the festive season, is pimp out my Instagram.
So what are your big plans now coming up for the new year or for the Christmas?
It's just training, like literally. I'm like, I got books to read. I want to learn how to do a bit of editing. It's just like, even I sing as well. So it's like I want to finesse singing. You know, there's certain things I just want to use this time. As everyone else is, you know, having that festive, let me buy some time in here, you know?
That's true. Then you got that time, use it. It's like when the whole lockdown thing came in, Jamila ended up making podcasts, you know, and I've never done editing in my life. And then all of a sudden I was practicing this editing for the podcast, and more and more, I've just kind of, I think I'm getting a bit better. I would have never have done that, or we probably would have never have done that if we didn't have that time. To make things happen. So it's all about to keep things going and stop using excuses as to, nothing's happening in my life. That's because you're making nothing happen. 100%. Always do something. And like you said, as actors, and that's a good positive message to give out to a lot of actors. Instead of feeling feeling down and thinking I'm not getting any work, use a positive thought about it. It's just time out to train and to learn more and to get yourself ready for when that big moment comes.
Because even now, like, you have to learn an American accent. That's one thing, like, learning.
Hey man, what's up?
You know, and that. So you have to perfect. There's a lot of things that you have to perfect. You know.
This is the time.
Yeah, the art form. So it's training. It's like athletes. Like everyone sees them few seconds of Usain Bolt running. But no, you have to do for a whole year. Wake up 5 o'clock. You had to do this. You had to eat like this. You had to do that. You just judge on that in them few seconds. You know.
It's so true. It's so true.
So my things like
But as soon as some little buds come out that show you that there's some spring and some income.
We'll have to all link up. But make sure you say a big shout out to us, to the rest of the cast that you're still in. Who didn't make it on today. We can understand that quite a few people are busy, didn't finish off their jobs or whatever. And I just hope, and I know that in 2020, it's weird to say 2022 is coming up, isn't it? 2022, you lot are going to be shining. Some of you already, you're all shining anyway, but if you stay with that pattern of thought in that you can always be better.
Yes.
And you will be better. Whatever that means, but I think that's a great attitude to take. That you have a very positive attitude, and that's how people make it in the world and continuously carry on, because they don't let anything take them down negatively. They just see it as a positive when it's someone could see it as a negative. And on that note, Unless you want to shout out about anything that you're going to be doing, some advert you said that's coming out in February. We'll look out for that.
That's a comic relief one.
Ah, okay.
That's a dope one. That's a comic relief one. I did a Pokemon advert, but I'm not. It's a Christmas Pokemon, but I think that's in America as well. So that's kind of things I've done recent. But yeah, just shout out everyone. Blessings, like positive energy to everybody, and God willing, we're all good and dope.
Okay, well, Kane Pearson. So remember that name.
Thank you.
Yes.
He was the one who played the Boyce in the film Mangrove, and he's done many things, as you can see. Look out for him in the future. So on that note, I am going to say, and I know when I say this, Jamila says I left her out. So we are going to say a big thank you to all the people that have supported us so far. As you know, we're a small little podcast, or Jamila and me, company trying to get out there on our own backs. No funding, no nothing as yet. So I would just say a big thank you to Kane Pearson for being on the show, and a big thank you to Jamila, my sister, and to everyone out there who supports the next generation of the Mangrove 9. We really appreciate the support, and we've loved the feedback that we're getting. And yes, we will keep going. And now I'm going to pass you to Jamila to say her goodbye. And don't try and cuss me in this one.
Would I do that, darling?
Yes, no. You would.
No, on a serious note, yes, thank you again. Again to my sister Yinks. We're going through we're pushing forward, and we're not letting any kind of walls, deceitful walls hold us back. And as Yinka showed, I've got my sledgehammer.
Raging bulls,
or the tractor, or the big ball, to lick down these concrete things. But and again, thank you, Kate, for coming on the show and sharing your experiences as you have done. And I look forward to seeing that toned and trained and fit young man,
singer, dancer, actor.
And just keep going, and we're fully behind you and with you, and
you.
As your sisters, and much love to you, and to the wider community, and the younger ones coming up. We love you, and see you in 2022.
And don't forget, you can check us out on www.the next generation of the Mangrove 9. We're also on Instagram, just the next generation of the Mangrove 9, and also on our Facebook, the next generation of the Mangrove 9. So please check us out. You can find we've got some merchandise here, as you can see, some lovely t-shirts and hoodies that if you go and check out our website, you'll be able to find out where to purchase or get hold of one of these lovely t-shirts or hoodies. And we actually have bags, so go and check that out.
We'll be selling that next year, and don't worry,
share to your friends, share, like, subscribe, do whatever you need to do. But thank you for the love and the support. And you can catch us if you haven't seen all the podcasts that we've done in the past, you can check it out on our website, and they're all on there updated for you to check out, also on the YouTube channel. Remember that this podcast was a dedication to the anniversary of the film The Mangrove, and also the actual trial that took place for the Mangrove 9, which would have been
years ago.
Today. It's coming up, tomorrow. So it would be 51 years now, isn't it? 51 years since the Mangrove 9 trial. So this is a big dedication. So you know what, Kane, this is a special moment for you being on the podcast show, because this is the actual anniversary coming up in 1 day's time. So anyway, on that note, I'm going to say goodbye again. So goodbye, everybody. Have a good night. Peace and love from us all. Bye.
Bye.